Representative Thomas Massie did something that has Washington insiders calling for emergency damage control meetings. He didn't make grand accusations. He didn't give impassioned speeches. He held up a single piece of paper with one name on it, a name that appears in the Epstein files, a name that both FBI Director Kash Patel and Attorney General Pam Bondi swore under oath was not in those files. And he asked them one simple question. Why did you lie? Watch until the very end, because when you see Bondi's response, when you hear her call this person a failed politician to dismiss him, and when you realize who that person actually is and what he knows, everything about this cover-up will snap into perfect, devastating focus. Subscribe right now, because what Massie just exposed will force criminal perjury charges and contempt citations. The House Judiciary Committee, Friday morning, 11:20 a.m. routine quarterly oversight hearing on Department of Justice operations. Kash Patel sat at the witness table, FBI director flanked by 5 attorneys who had successfully navigated 3 hours of questioning without a single damaging moment. Pam Bondi sat beside him, Attorney General, equally confident, having deflected every Epstein question with practiced ease. Both had testified under oath that all relevant names in the Epstein investigation had been properly investigated. Both had stated that no evidence was being suppressed. Both thought the dangerous part of the hearing was over. Then Chairman Jim Jordan recognized Representative Thomas Massie for his questioning time. For anyone unfamiliar with Thomas Massie, he's not your typical congressman, and he's certainly not someone who plays political theater. He's an MIT-trained electrical engineer who built a company from scratch, sold it, then went into politics not to climb a ladder, but because he genuinely believes in constitutional principles and government accountability. He approaches problems the way engineers do, methodically, systematically, breaking complex systems down into component parts until he finds the failure point. He builds arguments like mathematical proofs where each step follows inevitably from the last and the conclusion becomes inescapable. He doesn't give speeches for applause. He doesn't grandstand for cameras. He asks questions when he already has the answers and presents evidence when he knows it's irrefutable. And the single sheet of paper in his hand, held with the careful precision of someone who knows exactly what it contains and exactly what it's going to do, suggested he had just solved a very big and very dangerous puzzle. Director Patel, Attorney General Bondi, Massie began, his Kentucky accent understated, but his words precise as surgical instruments. I want to ask you both about a specific name that appears in the Epstein investigation files. He held up the paper so both witnesses could see it, though not close enough for cameras to read. This name appears 23 times in FBI investigative documents, flight logs, witness statements, financial transaction records, 23 separate mentions. He set the paper down. Do either of you want to tell me why this person was never interviewed? Patel's expression showed the first flicker of uncertainty. Representative, without knowing which specific individual you're referencing, I cannot comment on investigative decisions made by career FBI agents regarding interview prioritization. Massie nodded slowly. Let me help you then. He pulled out a second document. This is an FBI case memo from July 2019. It lists 47 individuals identified for mandatory follow-up interviews based on the strength of evidence connecting them to Epstein's activities. He held it up. This name I'm holding is number 14 on that list. Mandatory follow-up. He looked at Patel. Was this person interviewed? Patel glanced at his attorneys. Representative, investigative determinations about interview subjects involve complex assessments of evidentiary value, witness cooperation likelihood, and resource allocation. That no, Massie interrupted, his voice still calm but harder now. Was the person whose name appears 23 times in Epstein files, who's number 14 on the